Hello, Mr. Klein. Now, you probably won't see much of my face on my videos because really my videos are really not about me. They're about these very old machines, these relics. So what I have right here in front of me is two machines. So this right here would be your machine right here, and this would be my machine right here. Now, something very important that I want to let you know, the video heads on your machine, it's very important that you have this number right here. This is the 107.25. I would put that on file because that's something very important. For example, if you send this machine out to somebody to get it maintained or repaired, you always want to have that same video drum returned to you. Because to tell you the truth, this video drum is pretty much the heart of these machines. If for any reason that drum goes bad, you pretty much lose the ability to either play or record on these machines. So like I told you, I will be attaching quite a few photos onto an email that I'm gonna send you. So yeah, that number, very important. 107.25. Now this is your video drum right here. Just to let you know, this is my machine right here. It has a completely different number, as you can see right there. Yeah, that's something very important to know. The video drum, you always want to receive the same one. You don't want to be duped and somebody give you an inferior drum that they might have laying around. And for example, them keeping your video drum, which might be a better video drum, a better quality video drum. Want to let you know, that's something very important to know. So what I have here, these both they're on. Now, obviously they're not doing anything. I'm going to do kind of like a preliminary test right here to kind of show you what's going on here. Now, the reason that you are not able to both rewind, fast forward, and play correctly is due to three things. It's not just one thing, it's a total of three things. Now, one of those three things is it seems like your machine does not have the proper gap between, like I said in my video. I kind of freaked me out a while ago because everything that I suspected is pretty much what's going on here. Let me kind of turn on my light so you can see this very well. This video is actually not being publicized. It's only for your viewing. All right. Now right there, this gap, this is your machine, by the way. This gap right here, I'm going to move this back and forth. Now that gap right there, compared to my machine over here, I have a much larger gap right here. I would say that's probably twice as much. So yes, I am going to go ahead. I probably won't do it today. It's pretty late. It's already like 10 o'clock at night. I really get carried away with this stuff. I'm going to call it a day pretty soon. I just wanted to make this video before I called it quits. Let you know what I discovered. So yes, I will be concentrating on this part tomorrow morning. I'm going to go ahead and increase that gap right here. There's not enough gap here. You probably have half as much gap as what I have over here. Now the way that I was able to achieve a larger gap right here, I actually, like I told you in my other video, I had to modify the placement of those washers. So I will be doing that small modification on your machine tomorrow. Now let me go ahead and let you know another reason why you're not able to use your machine properly. Now this is something very hard to explain via video. When I spin, for example, this is my machine. When I physically spin with my hand, this part right here, this part is a lot easier to spin. Now this is very hard to explain over a video, but I just want to let you know, this is much easier to move with my finger like so, compared to your machine. Your machine is a lot stiffer to move. I mean, yeah, that's very hard to move. Maybe if I can spin it just quickly like so, see how far that goes? When I move it like that, that's how far it goes. Now compared to my machine, when I spin it, it goes quite further. Yeah, that's something very hard to explain. So I suspect that that sleeve bearing in here must be very dry. Like I told you, I do plan to lubricate all the bearings on your machine because I really want to take advantage that I have this machine in my hands. I know how expensive it was to ship this machine. Like I told you before, thank you so much for considering me to maintain your machine. Now this feels very stiff. This sleeve bearing must be incredibly dry. I don't know if you've ever paid someone in the past to maintain the bearings on this machine, because I've noticed that none of these bearings feel maintained. They're all pretty dry. They feel very stiff. But this one feels extremely stiff, and that's why you're not getting proper playback speed. Let me go ahead and demonstrate that. I'm gonna go ahead and press play on your machine, as well as my machine. See, right now I don't have a tape in here. There is no physical task on these motors. They're pretty much they're gonna start spinning on their own. So there really should not be any kind of struggling at all. Okay, so the way I trick these machines into thinking they have a tape is I actually place my finger right here on this sensor. The sensor actually reads if there's a tape here or not. So this is your machine. I'm gonna go ahead and press my finger right here, and that's gonna start right back up. See right there. Now that movement, try to focus on that movement. See, I placed that sticker right there that says moved. I use those stickers when I get mail from other people that used to live on my apartment. But notice that speed. Now, like I said, there is no tape in here. There should not be any kind of a load on these parts. Okay, so that's the speed we're getting on your machine. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and compare that to my machine. All right, right there. Now that movement, I don't know if you noticed, but I would say that's probably somewhere between 20% faster. So we are getting a faster movement on my machine. And like I told you, that's due to three things. So far, I've explained to you two of those. One of them would be the appropriate gap between these two. That would be the supply reel and the take-up reel. That second reason is the fact that this sleeve, in fact, has been maintained. It is lubricated. All right, let me go ahead and stop that right there. So we do have a faster movement on my machine. We do have a slower movement on yours. If this feels very stiff, very rough, that's not normal right there. So I do plan to lubricate this sleeve bearing. Now, the third reason where you're not getting proper playback and rewind and fast forward. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of my tripod here. I have to really get in there. All right. Okay, in here. Now this machine does have a total of 5 belts. Now I've inspected the belts on your machine. Now to tell you the truth, you have a much better conditioned belts than my machine. These look a lot better. They have a better color to them. So we have total of 5 belts here. Let me kind of show you this. This is one flat belt, 1, 2 square belt, 3 flat belt. These 3, they look great. They're ready to go. They're good. Over here we have another square belt. That would be 4 belts so far. And there's a 5th belt in here, and it's pretty small. It's kind of hard to see. Hopefully you can see this right here. Now this pulley right here, this white colored pulley in here, that does have a belt that connects that pulley to this motor right here. This motor is only activated when you press play. So it has quite a lot of work to do. This is a very bad design. To tell you the truth, all of those other motors and belts are very oversized, which is not a bad thing. But the thing is that they placed a very small motor, both a very small motor here as well as a very small belt right there. Now that belt, I do have a replacement for it. I did tell you this a couple days ago. I have extra parts. And like I told you, sometimes it kind of freaked me out because I did suspect that you had a loose belt. And after I opened your machine, I realized that yes, you do have a loose belt in here. I will have to replace this. I will be replacing this tomorrow. This belt right here, when I physically move this pulley, I notice that the belt is too loose. It feels very loose. When I move this, the actual motor does not spin. It's slipping. We have a lot of slipping here. So I will be replacing that belt tomorrow. So tomorrow I will be replacing that belt. That will fix one of the three reasons. As I will be lubricating the interior sleeve bearing that would be located behind these parts. That would take care of the second reason. And the third reason would be to modify the placement of these washers a little bit so we can get a further gap here. There's not that much gap. See, I'm moving it by hand right here. It's very small. It's not enough. Let me try to compare that one more time. And this is my machine right here. See, that would, I mean, at least to me, that feels like twice as much right there. So like I tell you, there's three reasons why your machine is not working properly. And I will be taking care of those three things tomorrow. I'm actually going to take care of that before I clean this machine. I do plan to clean your machine. I will be sending you quite a few photos showing you both the tape residue as well as the dust that's in this machine. Thank you so much.